I was just a simple girl, but that day in New York changed something inside me. I felt so small in that big city, so scared, so alone. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 29 years old. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. But this story is about a trip I took to New York City. It was my first time there. I was so excited. Big dreams, big plans, and a big city waiting for me. I took the train alone. I had my small bag, my phone, and my heart full of hope. I wanted to see Times Square, eat pizza in Brooklyn, take pictures at Central Park. It was a short trip, just 3 days, but I thought it would be perfect. I arrived at Penn Station. People were everywhere, fast, loud. Everyone seemed to know where they were going, but not me. I just stood there, holding my bag, looking left, then right. I felt small, like a child in a world made for grown-ups. I smiled to myself. "It's okay, Emily," I whispered. "You've got this." I used Google Maps. My hotel was close, only 10 minutes away. I started walking, but the streets looked the same. Tall buildings, bright signs, too many cars, too many people. I turned left when I should have turned right. I crossed a street I didn't need to cross. And just like that, I was lost. I looked at my phone, but my screen was black, battery 1%, and then it died. My heart sank. I was in New York, no phone, no map, no hotel name in my head. I only remembered it starts with um, Midtown? Madison? I didn't know. I stood near a hot dog stand. The man smiled at me. "Hey, miss, you okay?" I wanted to say yes, but my lips moved and tears came instead. "I think I'm lost," I said. "Where you trying to go?" "My hotel. I don't remember the name." He nodded. "You want to sit for a minute?" I sat on the sidewalk. People walked by. Some looked. Most didn't. I felt like crying more. I felt silly. I was 29, not 9. The man gave me water. It was warm, but it helped. I asked, "Do you know any hotel with M?" He laughed softly. "Girl, this is New York. We got 100 M hotels." I smiled a little. Not because I was okay, but because someone was kind. Minutes passed. I thought about my mom. She told me not to go alone. I wanted to call her, but my phone was still dead. Then I remembered my bag had a charger, a power bank. I opened it fast. Yes, it was there. I plugged it in. 1%, 2%, 3%. Finally, it turned on. I opened Google Maps. The hotel was in my recent searches. Madison Inn, West 39th Street. Yes! That was it! I jumped up. "Thank you," I said to the man. He waved and said, "Be safe, all right?" I followed the map. I walked fast. My heart was still beating fast. But I had a direction now. After 15 minutes, I saw it. The blue sign. Madison Inn. I almost cried again. This time, happy tears. I went to my room, closed the door, and sat on the bed. That night I didn't go to Times Square. I didn't eat pizza. I just stayed in with a blanket and my thoughts. I felt something inside me, fear, but also strength because I got lost, but I found my way alone. I didn't want to be scared again, but fear was still inside me. One wrong turn, and I felt lost, not just in the city, but in my own heart. The next morning, I woke up early. Sunlight came through the window. The sky was clear, but my heart still felt cloudy. I sat on the edge of the bed, thought about yesterday, getting lost, feeling afraid, but also finding my way back. I told myself, Emily, you came here to explore. Don't let fear stop you. I put on my jeans and jacket, tied my shoes tight, charged my phone fully this time, wrote the hotel name on a paper, just in case. I took a deep breath, then walked out into the city again. This time I started slow. I looked at every sign, every street name. I didn't want to get lost again. I followed the map. First stop, Bryant Park. It was quiet, green, a small piece of peace in a loud city. I sat on a bench, watched people, a mother pushing a stroller, a couple holding hands, a man reading a book. Everyone had someone. But I was alone. I took out my notebook. Yes, I write sometimes, little thoughts, tiny poems. I wrote, "Big city, small heart, but I will not fall apart." I closed the book, smiled to myself. That little poem gave me strength. Next stop, Times Square. The closer I got, the louder the city became. Cars, horns, music, talking, laughter, and lights. So many lights. Bright signs, moving pictures, big screens showing people, ads, colors. I looked up, and for a moment, I forgot everything. It was beautiful. Too big. Too much. But beautiful. I took out my phone, clicked some photos, smiled. Then I heard someone behind me. "Excuse me, miss? Do you need help with directions?" I turned around. A woman stood there. She was about my age. Brown hair, warm smile. She held a city map in her hand. I said, "No, I'm okay, just looking around." She laughed. "Me too. First time in New York?" "Yes," I smiled. "Same," she said. "I'm Sarah, from Chicago." "Emily, from Ohio." We shook hands. She asked, "Want to grab a coffee together?" It's scary walking alone. I hesitated. Should I? But she looked kind, and I was tired of feeling alone. "Sure," I said. We walked to a small cafe nearby, ordered coffee and muffins, sat by the window. We talked about travel, our jobs, our dreams. She said she was a nurse. I told her I worked in a bookstore. She loved old movies. I loved writing. It felt easy, like we had been friends before. I told her about yesterday, how I got lost, how I cried. She nodded. That happened to me too, in Chicago once. It's okay to be scared. We all get lost sometimes. Her words stayed in my heart. We all get lost sometimes. We finished coffee. She had to go meet someone. We exchanged numbers, hugged like old friends. Then I walked alone again, but this time I didn't feel so alone. That evening I went to Central Park. The sun was setting, the sky turned orange and pink. People walked their dogs, children played, music came from somewhere. I sat in the grass, closed my eyes. I was still Emily, still new to this city, still unsure, but I wasn't afraid now. I was learning, growing. I took out my notebook again, wrote, "In this big, bright place, I found a small, safe space. A stranger smiled, a friend was made, and some of my fear began to fade." That night, I looked at the city from my window, and for the first time, I didn't feel lost. I felt found. Sometimes getting lost is the only way to find who you really are. I came to see the city, but I found something deeper inside me. The next morning, I stood by my hotel window. New York looked different now, not smaller, but kinder. I had one day left, one last chance to feel the city, one last chance to feel myself. I made a list in my notebook. 1, walk across Brooklyn Bridge. 2, try real New York pizza. 3, right by the river. 4, smile at strangers. 5, don't be afraid. I took a deep breath, put on my favorite sweater, and stepped outside. The air was cool. The sky was soft gray. It felt like a quiet goodbye. I took the subway to Brooklyn. I had never been on a subway before. It was noisy. People sat close. No one smiled, but I didn't mind. I wasn't scared, not anymore. I looked at a little girl sitting with her mom. She held a stuffed bear. She looked at me. I smiled. She smiled back. That one smile filled me with light. I got off at the right stop, followed signs, walked up the steps, and there it was, Brooklyn Bridge. It was huge, beautiful, old, but strong. I started walking. The wind touched my face. Cars rushed below. The city stood tall behind me. I took photos. But I also stopped often just to look. About halfway across, I stopped again, took out my notebook and wrote, "This bridge is not just a path between places. It's a path between the girl I was and the woman I am becoming." I closed the notebook, held it tight. This notebook had saved me. It held my fears. And now, my hope. After the bridge, I found a pizza shop, tiny, with red tables and loud music. I ordered a slice, sat by the window. I looked outside. People rushed, but I was still. I took a bite, hot, cheesy, delicious. I laughed, softly. I'd never tasted pizza like this. Then I walked along the river. The water moved gently, birds flew low. The city skyline stood across the water. I found a bench, sat down, and breathed. I thought of the first day, how I stood at Penn Station, lost and scared, how I cried near the hot dog stand, how I met Sarah, how I wrote and smiled and grew. I wasn't lost now. I was here, in this moment, in this city, in myself. I wrote one last time. New York didn't just show me its lights, it showed me my own. I was never really lost. I just needed to find the courage to walk through fear. It was time to go. I walked slowly, back to the subway, back to the hotel, back to my small room with a big heart. That night, I packed. But I also smiled because I was taking more than clothes back home. I was taking memories, strength, friendship, and a piece of the city inside me. As I turned off the light, I whispered, "Thank you, New York. You scared me. You tested me. You changed me. But most of all, you helped me find me." I tell stories from the heart for the heart. If you felt something today, stay with me. Click subscribe and join my little world.